What's up, YouTube? Ho ho ho, it is the Christmas season. I've been making leather goodies for all the good little leather boys and little leather girls. I've been doing a ton of Christmas orders. For the past handful of years, I've been making my friends and family stuff for Christmas. And this year, I feel like I've ran out of things I can gift. And I think this year might be the first year I actually got to go back to buying people stuff for Christmas. But as BM Geisler would say, in a series of events so uncanny, I have a really good friend whose girlfriend's getting him a wallet for Christmas. So she gave me what she wanted to spend and I basically tripled it. This dude means a lot to me, so I hooked him up with something super sick. Originally this was just be a cool short little video, but I started editing this thing and I was like, holy crap, this is a really good video. There is a ton of tooling philosophy stuff. I didn't even realize I was doing it, but I go like really into depth about how I mentally approach tooling. Not only is this a cool, really kind of special meaning video to me, I think this video is also very informational. Like if you're trying to learn about leather, I think this would be a great video. If you are just a fan of leather or a customer or something, I think this video will show you really how much intricacies and little micro thoughts, a person has when they're actually tooling a piece of leather. I can't speak for everybody having all these little thoughts that go into something, but I know that I do. This video is on a little bit on the longer side, so we're gonna jump right into this bad boy. And buddy, I know you might see this, but love you, dude.
So we got this wallet, pretty hyped on it. Got these cool little skulls here. Got a little snake wrapping around this one, and then some spooky little candles for ambiance. And then we did some roses, and then we didn't have a lot left for some floral. So you could see we just have this little hit kind of in the middle to bridge the gap between the two designs to kind of make everything cohesive. First thing we're gonna do is once our drawing is down is we're gonna erase a lot of this graphite off so I can get a better look at my design when I'm actually carving it. I know that looked like it didn't take off a lot, but that little bit right there makes the absolute world of difference when I go to carve this. I'm gonna give it a little spritz. Gonna let that soak up while I sharpen up my blades. Use the leather wrangler swivel knife. I'm gonna start by carving out the most top layers and then working my way down into the background. As you can see, we got this candle right here. It's kind of on top of this leaf and this skull, and then I'll work into these background layers, and then this floral is like kind of the most background chunk. So by the time I get done with this rose, I'll start working my way here. The rose is the next layer down, and then this candle's below that, and then this floral, again, we're gonna meet in the center in the background right there. And then here on this skull, I'm gonna do these most kind of prominent features first, like these eye sockets. The eye sockets are kind of important to get in there good. And we're gonna go to the nose because that's kind of front center on the face. Kind of get some of this facial structure carved in here. I end up doing a lot of kind of like wicked looking skulls that are, they're kind of anatomically correct, but they're also a little bit more stylized to be kind of spooky and kind of edgy. So the teeth and some of the features we're kind of exaggerating or making a little wonky just to kind of make it look a little bit more grotesque and give us that spooky look we're going for. That is one handsome looking bony boy right there. And then with the roses, I always kind of carve them and tool them the same way. There's like the most pronounced part of the rose. So for example, you see this center right here is a little tricky to do. So what we'll do is frame in kind of the mid part of the rose here in this zone, and then we'll come in and kind of get those smaller center details that we're looking for. And then from there, we're going to work outward to do all these big open petals we got going. Cool, that's looking super solid. I am so freaking hyped to see how this thing comes out. It's the most pronounced part of this design that's pushed most to the surface, because you see this part of the snake is on top of that part of the snake, which is on top of the skull. So we always want to work in the most foreground thing because those are going to be the most pronounced parts of our design. So we want those to come out the cleanest because that's going to be the first thing that your eye sees. Give this snake a little scaly belly. Bang, bang. There, we got it. Super psyched. Next, we got my Berry King bevelers, and we're gonna get to giving this thing some dimension. Now, when I tool this, it's gonna be relatively the same kind of order of operations, kind of starting in the higher spots and then working into the background because everything is flat, and these little beveling tools push down and add bevels to everything. So with that being said, we want to start at the highest level, highest layer, and all those layers we want to push down into the background, which is the center portion. Same exact way we did with the carving. Now roses are pretty cool too. When I tool them, they're going to be the same way as I carve them. We're going to kind of start in this middle zone of the rose, of the whole rose. Basically this piece right here that I'm marking, this guy right here, is the most center part, or the most pronounced part of the rose. This and this basically tied. So we're going to start tooling in the middle because the outer layers of the rose need to get pushed down and the inner layers of the rose need to get pushed down. We are looking good, folks. Look at this bad boy. So here's where things get not so fun. All these layers are gonna be kind of a nightmare. This side is easy, this side, I mean, it's also gonna be easy, I guess, but it's gonna take a little bit more forethought before I start tapping on these lines. Wow. Okay, well this spaghetti was a lot easier to manage than I thought it was going to be. All you can do when you're tooling is just go little piece by little piece and just hope for the best. Let's go. Okay, so we got the tricky stuff done. Now we're going to just finish out this floral stuff in the background. Bang bang. Now we're gonna add some texturing. So as you saw, I worked, on the foreground, pushing to the background. Now when I do these texturing tools, I actually like to go the opposite way and start in the background and then bring it up to the foreground, because every time you hit it with one of these stamps or one of these tooling stamps, it also pushes it to the background. However, what we want is these objects, whatever you want to call them, that are in the foreground to be uninterrupted. We want them to be crispy and as clean as possible. So when we start getting into these texturing tools, things can kind of get muddied up. So as we work up, we can kind of smooth some things out and kind of just kind of polish it as we go, ending back at that upper surface. So all that stuff up at the highest foreground of our image or our design or our tooling is as crispy as possible. what I like to do is take my pear shader here and kind of run it at an angle and use it almost as a beveler. I'll show you guys on one of these pedals here. And you can see it gives it a little texture right there. Now we're gonna add some texture to these skulls like the roses and really bring these to life the same way we just kind of brought these guys to life right here. I'm going to use this horseshoe tool to kind of give the effect of scales. I was going to tap them with the hammer, but I'm afraid it will be too much kind of texture, so I'm going to come in here by hand and add these scales in. The last thing I want to do is add a couple decorative cuts to this floral. And voila. Cool. Super hyped on this thing. Okay, so we got color to do now. So I'm gonna start out with some black here on the borders and try and get this bad boy wrapped up. So next main color of this thing is gonna be red of the roses, so we're gonna get these bad boys turned red. Okay, red looks good, should lighten up here. And we're gonna plaster these skulls with some white real quick. I think I'm gonna put a gold tooth on these skulls because that would be super sick. I'm gonna let this stuff dry, throw a coat of super sheen or Vaseline on it, and stain it up. Alright, so we got it stained up. We're gonna slam it together and get it wrapped up.
So, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I know I had a lot of fun making it. I've been getting a ton of orders for skull stuff and like roses. It's been like my favorite stuff to do for a long time. I feel like I've been like forcing it on people. Like nobody who wants like a Western tooled, you know, wallet also wants like skulls and roses, and I've just been pushing it on people, and I think people are finally receptive of how like sick that imagery is mixed in with the Western stuff. I had a blast making this video. Shout out to my buddy. Love you, man. If you like that video, hit the subscribe button. If you're on other social media sites, all my links to that stuff down below. I'm the most active on Instagram. And till next time, I'm out.